Hello and welcome to a new video. Today we're going to take a look at the Open Ultra League again, and we're going to take a look at the Galarian Weezing. Well, the first opponent already had enough here. We're going to take a look at some gameplay that got sent to us, which is going to include some very interesting games here with the Galarian Weezing. Very cool Pokemon in the current Open Ultra League, something I can highly recommend you to build. This Pokemon is amazing, especially in like special cups, which we have rarely for the Ultra League, but sometimes we have them. For example, in the beginning we had one which was running at the same time as the Great League, so it didn't get that much attention, but also there, the Galarian Weezing was amazing. This Pokemon itself was also amazing in the Open Ultra League, having access to the move Brutal Swing as well as Overheat, giving you coverage against the most common meta Pokemon like the Giratina, like the Registeel, all those Steel types, all those, even Trevenant. You're going to have a very great time against this Pokemon. You're going to have a very good time against a lot of Pokemon, as well as, for example, any Charm user, as Scrafty. You have everything on your hand here. You're going to be able to go for one Overheat here, and you're going to get a lot of damage onto the opponent, swapping into the Sylveon. Going to be able, into the Jellicent, of course. Going to be able to just take a Moonblast here like it's nothing, because Jellicent is a very bulky boy. One of the bulkiest boys of the Ultra League right now. Going to go for one Surf, going to be able to realign, going to get some damage as well onto the incoming Scrafty. Scrafty has nothing to hit the what's called the Weezing with, so Scrafty going to be pretty much hard-walled, as well as our fast move on the Weezing, which is very rare nowadays, going to be double super effective. So Galarian Weezing went from a not usable Pokemon to one of the best meta threats for the Open Ultra League right now. Having access to those newer moves, Brutal Swing as well as Fairy Wind, makes it such a good Pokemon. Without those moves it was really bad prior, but since these last move updates, this thing is definitely something you should invest in, because it's really strong right now. You're going to be able to shield up the correct move with the Trevenant there, which is going to be very important, because as you can see here, this team can kind of struggle against Trevenants. We're going to have a normal Swampert here, not a Shadow variant, which is kind of rare to see. Usually you see Shadow versions of the Swampert more often, but here you're going to be able to just go ahead, go for 2 Hydro Cans. This is going to be fine, and you will be able to get the knockout against the opponent's Regirock. In comes, of course, the Trevenant. They might want to farm you all the way down, but what you can do here is you can go for some Hydro Cannons, and you're going to do a lot of damage against them here. You're going to try to get to the Earthquake. You see that you can get there in time, and you can reach another Hydro Cannon coming in here, going to do a ton of damage as the Brutal Swing is coming through. The most likely go for one Shadow Ball, but it's better to no shield here as well, as you're going to be able to go for another Brutal Swing afterwards anyway. They're going to let this move go through, and we're going to see a dub ball coming in. This is most likely going to be not a dub here, but we're going to get an amazing swap by this player here. And we will see now the Jellicent against this. Dub ball for sure has a good coverage move against Jellicent. Now is the question, is this a Wild Charge, or is this the Payback? A Wild Charge would be better for you, because you would be able to get the debuff onto the opponent, and it's going to be Payback, which is definitely a little bit worse for you, but you can still hit them pretty hard with the Surfs here right now. So there still might be a way of winning this game, just if you can get the Surf off. You're going to let this move go through. It's going to be another Payback. That should be kind of out of energy here right now, and you have a lot of energy stored onto your Weezing. Can you still win this game? It's going to be a close one. The opponent going to let the move go through, and they're going to just forfeit the game. Okay, that's wild. The opponent needed 2 body slams. I think you still will have one anyway, but it was a close one. The opponent here is also definitely a fellow Weezing enjoyer. Interesting that you go for the Overheat here, but you're gonna get the shield. This is amazing. You really needed to get the shield here, because the damage itself doesn't really help you too much. Unless they're running Play Rough, they are running Play Rough here, so it's going to be a little bit of a closer matchup against the Swampert. Actually, don't agree with this play here. I would have went for the Earthquake instead, and actually, never mind, I would have been wrong. So the opponent going to go for another Play Rough here, and you will be able to reach the Earthquake in time. This is, of course, going very well for you right now. Getting both shields from the opponent already, having the lead matchup that you're going to win clearly, and still having your Swampert alive here that will still do around like 40% against his opponent's Dragonite. That's going to be amazing. I guess maybe even like only 30. Yeah, that's a little bit less than I thought, because it wasn't a Shadow variant. But we're going to see the Tapu Fini coming in here, and there's nothing a Tapu Fini can do against a Jellicent, especially a shield down, as you're going to encounter now the Shadow Ball going to 2-shot the opponent, and even a Moonblast doesn't do enough damage to do anything to you here right now. You're going to let this move go through. It's going to be the Moonblast, and this is going to be a good game here. Shadow Ball going to find the target, going to knock out the Tapu Fini, and we're going to see the Dragonite coming in here right now. Surf going to weaken them a little bit, putting them into range for one Brutal Swing. As you're going to go for the... You try to go for the swap out there, but I guess you even farm them down maybe in time. Maybe they have Hurricane, so the shield here is definitely the better option, but of course they're going to run Superpower, because nobody is running Hurricane in the current meta anymore, as Superpower just gives you better coverage on a Dragonite. Good game there. Next opponent, an okayish lead, but not really one that you really want to face here. Jelson is the say-swap of this team, which I totally agree with. Having the what's called Swampert as a say-swap is really risky no matter where Trevenant is pretty dominant. So here you might actually want to shield this move up, but you're going to let this move go through. It's going to be the Moonblast. It's going to put you close to the red health, as you're going to see a Giratina coming in. But they're running Dragon Breath. This might allow you to even go for 2 Shadow Balls here in time. First one coming through, and the second one is just barely not reached here. But you will be able to let this move go through now, and because it's Dragon Breath, the matchup for the Weezing going to be even better. You might even be able to farm them all the way down if you want to, because this incoming Ancient Power doesn't really do that much damage. So maybe you're going to go ahead. Nah, you're going to go for one shot move. Yeah, I agree with this play as well. Ancient Power would still do a little bit more damage, and you still have around, basically an overheat start there. That's going to be very fine for you. We're going to see the Swampert coming in. You have to shield it now. Swampert is the Pokemon that you really need to keep alive now, because the Tapu Fini can be a little bit difficult for you to deal with now. Earthquake going to get shielded by you, as we're going to see the opponent going for another charge move here. Of course, Weezing Wild has some good coverage. It doesn't have coverage at this moveset here for the Tapu Fini, even though you're a poison type, you don't have anything to hit them with, as we're going to get the Earthquake through, and we're going to see a Gliscor coming in. This basically seals the deal. You can even swap out here, in my opinion. You have an overheat stored, and you would be able to, exactly, snipe the opponent, going to be able to knock out the opponent here. Very high level gameplay here. There's definitely legendary plays. We're going to see the next opponent coming in here. You're going to have a Swampert in the lead. You're going to swap out immediately into your Jellicent. This is a little bit tricky here, because Swampert, of course, you don't really want to have the mirror in the back either. The opponent gave you a free fast move, which is kind of nice, but I guess you're going to have to give them a free one back as well here. Yeah, kind of overfarmed a little bit too much here, because this is a little bit more efficient there. But okay, you can still go for one serve. I don't think this actually knocks out the opponent yet. But yeah, exactly, they're going to survive with 1 HP. I don't think this is an Earthquake. I think this is just a Hydro Cannon here. It's an Earthquake already. Never mind, it's like 7 for the next Earthquake. I guess they were just barely there. As you're going to get out the Trevenant, that's exactly what you want to do. That's exactly why you don't want to use the own Swampert as a say-swap here. Still not ideal, because the opponent has access to the move Shadow Ball, but you're going to get out now the Charizard, which is also very decent for you, because you don't have the best moves to hit this with for your, for the Weezing. You have to go for one charge move here. The opponent might want to shield this move up, but we will find out shortly. They are not. They're going to let this move go through. They have to go for the Seed Bomb here right now, and you're in a pretty decent spot, but now it depends if you go for the... Oh, never mind. The opponent gives you a way better chance now. This will allow you to now go ahead, go for a Brutal Swing afterwards. Just know it's in Brutal Swing range. Before it wasn't, so you just have to hit another one. You can still survive on Shadow Ball. This is not even a risky play here anymore, because it's going to not knock you out yet. And we're going to see now the incoming Shadow Ball doesn't knock you out. You can go for the Brutal Swing and win this game here. Very well played, and this is game. So let's take a look now. In the next game, we're going to find a Jellicent against you in the lead. This is going to be an okayish lead for you, as you have Brutal Swing, but it's also not going to be as good as Brutal Swing is not a stab move. Means you're going to do some decent damage, as you can see here, but you're still going to need 3 charge moves in order to knock the opponent out. In comes a Shadow Ball that you're going to shield up, which is definitely the right call here, because Shadow Ball would do a ton of damage and does take a lot of energy for them to get there, as you're going to be able to hit another Brutal Swing here. You're going to get the shield back, as well as you're going to put them down to farm down range, which is going to be very nice for you. You're going to get another Shadow Ball against you, which you're going to let now go through, as you can swap into your own Jellicent to farm them down. But in comes a Noctowl. Nope, we are not in the Open Great League, we are in the Auto League indeed, and we're going to see a fully XL best buddied Noctowl with a cool hat on. That's amazing to see, and look at that bow. Look so stylish with the best buddy button there as well. Amazing stuff from that trainer. As you're going to see the Surf coming through here as well, going to do some decent damage against them, and another Surf going to hit them. And you see already, while this is a very good matchup for the Noctowl, it is still not really taking, like, it's still very, very low in terms of the health it has left. Sky-Attack coming through, going to knock you out, and you're most likely going to go back into your Weezing, but sadly the opponent going to get to another charge move in time. I actually most likely would have shielded this move up here, but you're going to go for the shield advantage, I guess, on the Swampert. It does make some kind of sense as well. Going to fall on the knockout here, but the opponent going to shield this move up means that they're most likely very weak against Swampert in the back, allowing you to overfarm by 1 fast move here at least. If you it's exactly how you should play this one. Very nicely played. Going to go ahead, go for the Hydro Cannon, going to knock out the opponent, and we see the Scrafty in the back. So the opponent tricked you a little bit here. they went ahead and tried to make it out like they would be weak against you in the back, but they actually have a Scrafty in the back, which will most likely win this game for them, as you are not able to two-shot them here and they're going to farm you all the way down. So that's going to be a good game. Nice trickery by the opponent. We see a Giratina against you. Giratina's main damaging source is next to the fast move, also the charge move Dragon Claw, which is going to be double resistant here, so they are forced to go for the Ancient Power, which is now buffed a little bit, but also gives you less not as good as a boost now anymore, with only a single stage buff, which it should have had from the beginning. To be fair, it was just broken before, like, honestly. I feel like Ancient Power is so much better like this. But it's going to do a lot of damage against you, but you're still going to be able to go ahead and catch a charge move onto your Jellicent here, which is going to be nice. You would be able to farm down the opponent, but they decide to go into a Cobalion. That's such a smart idea. Like, why not go into a Pokemon that's completely resistant? Like, I don't know. Like, I don't know why you go into a Cobalion here. There must be double weak to Jellicent in the back. Honestly, this does not really make too much sense, especially as you're going to shield this move up here. But the thing is, you also have a Swampert in the back, and Swampert going to have a great time against the opponent's Cobalion as well. Stone Edge coming through, you most likely will still survive that one, but you're still going to go ahead and go for the shield here. Shadow Ball going to do some decent damage against them, as you're going to see the Surf coming through. But no, you're going to swap out as the opponent swapped out, and they're going to catch this Overheat onto the Giratina, which is unfortunate here. But you're still safe with this one. The Jellicent, which is going to be nice, is the opponent going to have a Charizard here. You're most likely going to go into your Jellicent again because you have... Oh, never mind, you're going to go into your Swampert. Okay. Well, went to my Jellicent most likely because you had some energy stored already, but I guess it does make some kind of sense here as well, especially as you have the non-shadow version of the Swampert, allowing you to survive some charge moves a little bit easier, as you can go ahead and go for the charge move with the opponent going to swap out now into the Cobalion, taking the incoming Hydro Cannon, but they're actually going to go ahead and go for the charge move, caught on your Ghost type. This is amazing, very nicely played there. You should have went for the Surf though. There's no way now that a Shadow Ball is needed to knock out this opponent here. I don't know why you went for that one. Like, Surf would have easily done enough damage, and not really the right move to go for, but you can still get to the Surf here, but you overfarm for like a ton of energy for whatever reason. This will still knock them out, so that's going to be fine, but a very risky play there, like a lot of times kind of unnecessary play. But here we're going to encounter a Skuntank in the lead. This is going to be an awkward one, but you're going to be able to take one charge move here. They most likely run Flamethrower as well, and yeah, and Crunch, and they only go for a Crunch, which is going to be resisted. As the opponent going to swap out into a Lantern, allowing you now to align your Swampert against them, which will be able to go for an Earthquake in order to knock out the opponent here. They can just basically overfarm by... Actually, they can overfarm by 3 more fast moves if they want to, and that's exactly what they're doing here. So very nicely countered by the opponents. This is the CMP tie, and the Lantern gonna go down here. Let's see what's coming in. The Skuntank, this is amazing for you. You're going to shield up the incoming Crunch here, but Skuntank is exactly the Pokemon you want to have against your Swampert. The defense drops from that Crunch, but that shouldn't really matter too much, as the Hydro Cannon going to get shielded up, as we're going to see a Jellicent swapping into the charge move here, and you might want to swap in your own Jellicent, and you could do exactly that. The opponent is now into Shadow Ball range, while you are not in Shadow Ball range. You don't want to risk the CMP tie here, as the opponent going to go for a Bubble Beam. They didn't hear the memo, they didn't know that Surf is still available for this Pokemon. What the hell? I haven't seen a Bubble Beam version of this Pokemon for 10 years. But now we're going to encounter the Shadow Ball. Doesn't knock you out as well, but I don't think you can farm them down anymore. You can just barely farm them down here. First Surf coming through, I think you're still going to be able to survive another fast move from the opponent here as well. And yes, you can still go for another charge move here. Going to do a lot of damage here, going to get the final shield of the opponent. You have nearly a Hydro Cannon stored here. You still have a shield, and this is going to be a very good game. And this is also going to be it for the video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please leave a like on it, and I see you in the next one. Bye!